Thank you, Tony Schiavone, the ring announcer. This is Gordon Soley with the Pro Wrestling USA at ringside, getting set to go with our first match in this hour of championship wrestling, brought to you by the National Wrestling Alliance and the AWA, the two oldest and largest sanctioning bodies of professional wrestling the world over, amalgamating to bring you the greatest array of wrestling competition and talent anywhere in the world. A high hip toss by superstar Billy Graham. Superstar Billy Graham, a chop into the chest of Sam Houston. Superstar Billy Graham, of course, former world champion. He is a tremendously powerful man. Excellent muscular definition and conformation. He has won title after title after title, both in weightlifting, bodybuilding, and in wrestling. Superstar Billy Graham now with a side headlock. Catches Sam Houston and drives him to the canvas. It's superstar Billy Graham again with a side headlock. Houston back. Referee Tommy Young checking and now warning superstar Billy Graham about the chokehold. Thing about Graham, with his tremendous size and strength and wrestling ability, he still likes to go for the shortcuts. He'll still go for those shortcuts. Now the flat of the foot into the side of the rib cage of Sam Houston. Young Sam Houston, as we have mentioned on earlier programs here on Pro Wrestling USA, is a fine young athlete. Has a great career in front of him, no question about it. Rear chinlock by superstar Billy Graham. There's only one way that Sam Houston, however, is going to achieve the success that he wants to, and that's to get into the ring. And stepping into the ring with somebody as talented and as experienced as superstar Billy Graham is a good way for this man to garner some valuable knowledge and experience in the sport. Next week, of course, it'll be the class of the 80s. Next week, the week that we've all been waiting for, the class of the 80s. I think you'll see it more champions on 1 hour than any time in the history of wrestling, particularly on television. Sam Houston driving elbows into the midsection now. A series of stinging right hands into the midsection and the head of superstar Billy Graham. Sam Houston, an Irish whip. And as Sam Houston charged in rather recklessly, it was superstar Billy Graham unleashing a pair of feet right into the face of the young Sam Houston. Irish whip off the ropes, the back of the elbow that drives Sam Houston back to the canvas. Houston trying to get it together, back on his feet once again. Another Irish whip by superstar Billy Graham, and there he goes, clamping those mighty pythons under the arms and going into a full Nelson on Sam Houston. And I can tell you from past experience that it is all over for Sam Houston. You just don't break free of those 22-inch arms of superstar Billy Graham. And so, the victory certainly goes to this man, 260-pound master of the martial arts and master of the full Nelson, superstar Billy Graham. He is indeed victorious over this young man, Sam Houston. Take a look at slow motion to see where we're coming from here. He starts to set his man up, drives that elbow under the chin of Sam Houston, and then goes to the full Nelson. Team champions and the Mid-Atlantic heavyweight champion. I'm referring, of course, to Black Bart and Cowboy Ron Bass and their manager, Mr. J.J. Dillon.
You know, Gordon, 1 week ago there was a confrontation between Bob Backlund and Cowboy Ron Bass, the Mid-Atlantic heavyweight champion. And I think Bob Backlund approached the match with a little bit disillusioned, because in the past, I think his whole world ended at the city limits of the Big Apple in New York City. He forgot that there were people out there like Cowboy Ron Bass, like Black Bart, that have accumulated titles in regions all over the country, all over the world. So last week, we put Bob Backlund in his place. The only thing that upsets me is the fact that you used the phrase shallow or hollow victory, which I was very insulted that you would use that type of terminology. So what I'm saying is, number one, I want a rematch. I don't care if it's in New York City. I don't care if it's in New Jersey, Connecticut, Long Island, or Los Angeles. And next time, I guarantee you one thing, Bob Backlund will not put his hands on me again, and he would have the first place if Black Bart had been there. Right, Cowboy?
You know, J.J., Bob Backlund, he come into the ring. He thought he had himself a little pushover. He thought he was going to have that cakewalk. But Bob Backlund, you had a surprise coming, didn't you? You run into a man for a change. You run into a man that can get into the ring and get the job done. And what you have done now, my friend, is you put your dirty little slimy hands on J.J. Dillon. And when you do that, my friend, that is the biggest form of insult to us that can happen. And when you insult the Long Riders, you better believe that we kind of get even. We're going to go back into the ring, Backlund, if you've got the guts. Anywhere that you want to put your name on the line, whether it's New York, Kansas City, Charlotte, North Carolina, wherever, my friend.
Just put your name on the line. I don't mean to interrupt,
we'll
but
be waiting on you.
All right, the challenge has been made. Let's go to the screen now on our next match. Fall, 10-minute time limit now. Mike Davis. Lee Ramsey, rather, going out against Mr. Saito. Lee Ramsey against Mr. Saito. Saito, of course, one of the all-time greats to come out of Japan. Back leg trip by Saito. He was in the Olympics for Japan and was a medalist. Next week, of course, the class of the 80s. Every man on the program next week holds a regional or national or international title. The greatest array of wrestling champions ever seen on television will be here on Pro Wrestling USA next week as we bring you the class of the 80s. Saito punishing Ramsey. Ramsey has just never been able to get things moving. Saito smashing him into the turnbuckle now. Saito at about 265 pounds. And every ounce of it is muscle and sinew. One of those powerful competitors in the sport, no question. Referee Tommy Young checking as he goes to the two of the 26 nerve points in the body. If you've ever had that done, you know exactly how painful that can be, and Saito's a master at going to those nerve points. Later on, we're going to be seeing the World Junior Heavyweight Champion Mike Davis going up against former 7-time World Heavyweight Champion Harley Race. That matchup coming a little bit later on. Meanwhile, it's Saito utilizing that Oriental takedown, sort of a variation of a Cornish hype, and it is Saito now in behind his man with a rear chin lock. Lee Ramsey, who has not been able to move too terribly effectively, has found himself in more and more trouble. In the next couple of weeks, we're going to be bringing you some specials, too, on former world champion Bob Backlund. As I've mentioned before on previous programs, Bob Backlund is truly one of the great humanitarians in the United States today and spends countless hours working with the youth of America. Helped train the Olympic team for the wrestling, and, of course, they went on to a tremendous victory. He also has conducted youth camps and youth wrestling tournaments throughout the United States. We'll be talking to Bob Backlund about this and showing you some of the things that Bob has been doing in addition to carrying his full load as one of the finest pro wrestling competitors in the world today. It is Ramsey trying to figure an escape from the situation by Saito. Notice the way Saito utilizing the hands, the arms, and the legs very effectively on Ramsey. Ramsey stays prone on the canvas. Good shot of our close-up camera operator, Jack Crockett. He's right down at ringside, right where all the action is. And there you see all those close-ups we're talking about as Saito continues to mount even more pressure. And now, deciding that perhaps Ramsey might be right for a pinning combination, allows him to get to his feet and then uses clubbing forearms across the back. And a chop right into the throat. And those are open chops, so they are well within the legal limitations. And it is Ramsey taking a tremendous amount of punishment. Saito brings him up belly to back suplex in for the lateral press, and it is all over for Lee Ramsey. It is all over indeed. And so this tremendous athlete from the country of Japan, Mr. Saito, toyed with Lee Ramsey and then finally destroyed him when he felt the time was right. And here you see him as he sets him up for the end of this event.
10-minute time limit. Introducing first in the blue corner, the NWA World Junior Heavyweight Champion, weighing 222 pounds. Here's Mike Davis. His opponent in the yellow corner, the Missouri Heavyweight Champion, weighing 263 pounds. Here's Harley Race. One fall, 10 minutes.
There's the bell, and it's Harley Race, Missouri heavyweight champion, but more importantly, 7 times world heavyweight champion. The only man to hold that distinction in the history of the National Wrestling Alliance, moving out against Mike Davis. Now, Mike Davis out of the University of Furman is a former defensive ball player. He was an amateur wrestler and has done extremely well in the pro ranks. He is the world junior heavyweight champion at this time. He's got some heavy challenges coming his way, Denny Brown being one of the top contenders for that title. And right now, a great opportunity for Davis. If he can score a pinfall on Harley Race, the world heavyweight champion, that obviously would give him a chance to go up against Ric Flair for that world title. Although Mike is very, very happy in his current position as a world junior heavyweight champion, I'm sure that he'd like to cross that weight barrier and perhaps become the first man ever to hold both titles at the same time. But he is facing one of the toughest men in the sport today, Harley Race. Race, who has wrestled more than half of his adult life, began in the pro ranks at the age of 17. And Race will make you wrestle his fight. He is not going to, he has had so much experience and so much time in the ring. Very rarely do you see him slip into somebody else's match. He will make you wrestle his way. He is a cool, calm, methodical competitor. Fires him off, leapfrog by Race. Both men up with a drop kick, and it was Davis, I think, getting slightly the worst of it that time, and Davis coming up rather slowly. Race very graciously letting him get to his feet, then takes him off his feet once again with a high knee lift into the chin. And Race feinting with both hands and then moves in with a headbutt that puts Mike Davis back to the canvas again. Davis, who defends this title worldwide and has been picking up tremendous experience in title defenses from as far away as Hong Kong, Brisbane, Australia, into the States again. Finding himself hard-pressed right now against this good move by Davis. A double cradle, but it is Race insisting it was only a 2 count, and the referee, Tommy Young, warning him that he was extremely close. And so Race almost found himself pinned on that combination. Good counter by Mike Davis. Mike Davis, of course, has matured well into the sport. I had the pleasure and the privilege of watching Mike Davis in his very first professional match a number of years ago. And I can assure you that the length of time that he has become now the world junior heavyweight champion is certainly a credit to this man's self-sacrifice, his dedication, and his desire to be the very, very best in his sport. Referee Tommy Young checking once again with Harley Race to see if he wants to concede as Davis keeps the side headlock. Tell you a match I'd like to see myself would be Mike Davis and Bob Backlund. I think that would be a classic scientific confrontation. Good move by Race that time as he took what looked to be a disadvantaged position and took it to his own advantage. Belly to back suplex and caught Davis off guard, and now Race, using his head as a battering ram, smashes into the side of the head of Mike Davis. Enough of those percussions to the head, and Davis is going to have himself a lot of problems trying to remember what day it is. And Race, completely methodical, very calmly, drives a hard right hand into the head, drives Davis back to the canvas once again. Davis shaking his head, trying to clear those cobwebs. Race in behind him, brings him up. Atomic knee drop on Davis, has Davis in trouble, and it is Race again, down across the throat of Harley Race, or Mike Davis rather. And Race complaining to the referee now about not moving in there and counting quickly enough. And I would have to side with the referee, in this case, Tommy Young, as a most efficient official in the ring, and very, very conscientious. Davis fires to the midsection of Race, catches him once again, and Race backing away. Davis with a good forearm to the side of the jaw that rocks the former world champion. A high knee lift takes the former world heavyweight champion Harley Race to the canvas. Davis moves in with a lateral press. Race powers out. Davis now with a front chancery on Harley Race. And so now Race is the one who's on the defensive. It'll be Race trying to figure an escape and a counter move on Mike Davis. Very quickly, Tommy Young back down there checking with Race, and notice that Davis is offering some more punishment here to the man. Race, the Missouri heavyweight champion. He'd like to regain the world championship. A couple of weeks ago, of course, we heard the challenges that were flying. Rick Martel, the AWA champion, talking about meeting Ric Flair, the NWA champion, with both titles at stake. Bob Backlund threw in a challenge on that one. The American Dream, Dusty Rhodes challenged. And obviously, if Mike Davis gets a victory here over Harley Race, he would certainly be in contention for that Super Bowl. And the Race, of course, by virtue of being world heavyweight champion on 7 different occasions, is obviously another prime contender. Davis jammed into that. Race has him up and trying to set him for that pile driver, and it is Davis trying to block it, and Race converts that to a slam. Again, Race complaining to the referee, Tommy Young, about the count. But Young has been right there on the money all the time, so and again, Race, outstretched hands, feints his opponent out and uses that headbutt to put Mike Davis back to the canvas. Race with more percussions now to that prefrontal lobe. Mike Davis trying to get back to his feet, but he's shaky. Those legs are just a little rubbery. And it's Davis smashed into the turnbuckle again. That gray matter starts getting short-circuited. It becomes very difficult to think and to react physically. And Harley Race is well aware of that fact many, many times in his past career. He's had men in exactly this same kind of condition. But it is Mike Davis. A good knee lift into the midsection. Mike Davis connects with another knee just near the heart of Harley Race now. The foot right into the midsection. And so Mike Davis, great second effort here. The adrenaline flowing. And it is Harley Race hurtled into that far steel ring post. And I don't know if Race is going to come away from this or not. He could have a separated shoulder here. Let's see if Race is able to continue. Well, Davis isn't taking any chances. He delivers another forearm to the side of the jaw. And it is Race hanging onto those ropes as Davis moved into his Race, ripping across the eyes of Mike Davis. Irish whip, and it's Davis reversing on him. Davis catches him into a high hip toss. Race coming up, and it is Davis going to the air. Mike Davis going to the air, trying to get him for a head scissors, and it is Harley Race blocking that situation. And a highly dangerous move, anybody who goes to the air, and that's exactly what happened here. Mike Davis upended, jammed into those ring ropes. And so Harley Race, again, the dominant factor in this match. Race brings him up. High vertical suplex. And many times this spells disaster for the opponent. And it is Mike Davis stunned, dazed, and a count of 3. A count of 3. Harley Race, 7 times world heavyweight champion, barely edging out Mike Davis. The time limit was almost expended here. So Mike Davis certainly has nothing to be ashamed of here. He almost held the former world champion to a draw, but the victory goes to Harley Race.
With a 10-minute time limit. Introducing first in the blue corner, the Universal Heavyweight Champion.
set to move out against the Universal Heavyweight Champion, Carlos Colon from San Juan, Puerto Rico. Colon, an electrifying competitor, one of the most popular competitors ever to come from San Juan or from Puerto Rico. He is almost to a point of being revered in Puerto Rico. Ben Alexander, a durable, tough competitor. Caught in the hammerlock now, and it's Colon driving him to the canvas. Colon wrenches up on that hammerlock. Speaking about electrifying competitors, immediately following this match, I'll be talking to the most unpredictable competitor in the sport today, and that's Dick Slater. High leapfrog by Colon, and Colon hooked that arm very nicely and takes Alexander back to the canvas. Alexander in the black trunks has been beset with problems since he first moved into the ring against Carlos Colon. Colon, a very fluid competitor, has a tremendous grace as he competes against people. Moves almost like a panther. Don't forget, of course, next week, Class of the 80s here on Pro Wrestling USA. Greatest array of champions ever seen at one time. Good, that's up. Colon catches him and drives Alexander back. Alexander right now has to be thinking, where is this man coming from? Every time I move against him aggressively, he counters me and takes me back to the mat. Alexander may have to change his strategy here completely and figure a different mode of attack against Colon, but I don't know what direction you could go after Colon and do it successfully. And that is why, indeed, he's held the Universal Heavyweight Championship for the length of time that he has. Alexander trying for a snap mare. Gets Colon battered into that turnbuckle, however, and now it's Alexander. A rabbit punch back of the head, and Alexander a forearm into the chest. Colon fires back. And, well, a regular street brawl breaking out here, but once again, it's Carlos Colon with a full-arm dragon twist. Be watching for such names as the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, Cowboy Ron Bass, Mike Davis, and others next week here on Pro Wrestling USA, the Class of the 80s. Brought to you in mutual cooperation of the AWA and the NWA. Davis still on the canvas now, and it is Colon keeping an inside armbar on the man, keeping him trapped. Alexander, rather, now makes it up to his feet, and watch Colon. A wing over takedown, and Colon again. Almost a suplex as he brought him over that time, underarm. The referee warning him and admonishing him to release the hold. He does so. Colon stalking his man. Alexander lashes out a boot to the midsection, and that caught Colon off guard. Colon smashed into the turnbuckle now, and it is Alexander driving a shoulder to the midsection, and again drives it into the midsection of Carlos Colon. An Irish whip by Alexander, but it's reversed by Colon. Colon catches him with a drop kick coming off the ropes, and Carlos Colon another drop kick coming off the ropes, and cartwheel now as Colon moves in on his man, a single leg pickup. Colon now damaging those femoris muscles. Goes into the figure four. The figure four leg hold, and it is all over for Mr. Alexander. Carlos Colon, the Universal Heavyweight Champion from San Juan, Puerto Rico, victorious over Ben Alexander. With me right now, as I talked about unpredictable competitors, here is the most unpredictable man in the sport today, Mr. Dick Slater.
Well, thank you. Why am I unpredictable anyway? Tell him why.
Well, because nobody knows what he's going to do next. A lot of people have wondered if you really know, or do you just do it on instinct?
A lot of people wonder whether I'm going to do, what I'm going to do, where I'm going to be, when I'm going to get there. See, a lot of rumors coming to Dick Slater coming to New York City. No, I'm bringing New York City to Dick Slater. Matter of fact, maybe I'm bringing New York to New York. The thing about it is Dick Slater is coming that way. And when I come, I cause nothing but excitement. See, Gordon, I choose no sides. Every man that's ever climbed in a ring with me knows that I'm a very, very physical wrestler. That's my key, to choose no sides. I've collected a lot of bounties. I've done a lot of evil things. I've done a lot of good things. But when I climb in the ring and when I hear the bell, it's all business.
Well, there's certainly no question about that. I think anybody who has ever watched Dick Slater in action will attest to the fact that he is 110% at all times when he's in the ring.
Well, Gordon, here's it is. See, there's a lot of great wrestlers around the country. And there's a lot of great wrestlers right here, what you've seen today. But like I said before, being unpredictable is a key to things. See, a lot of people get in the ring, they can see, you know, what the other man is made out about it, his moves, this and that. And the most important thing is to put a man's back down on the mat for the 1, 2, 3. But see, that's the thing, that the key, that they cannot predict what I'm going to do when I climb in that ring. Because every time I climb in the ring, I'm not the same man. I'm going to change my style. I can change my looks. I can change just about anything there is. I can change your arm. I can rearrange your face.
Here's a special word.
One fall and a 10-minute time limit. Introducing the team in the blue corner. First of all, weighing 230 pounds, wearing the blue trunks, here's Gene Ligon. Gene Ligon. His partner, weighing 228 pounds, Mike Fever. Mike Fever. And now their opponents. Weighing 245 pounds, Ivan Koloff. Ivan Koloff. And his partner, weighing 275 pounds, Nikita Koloff. Nikita Koloff. One fall, 10 minutes.
And so the uncle and nephew team of Ivan and Nikita Koloff moving out against Gene Ligon and Mike Fever. The Koloffs going into the ring with a decided weight advantage and a height advantage. However, the experience factor could make the difference here. But look at the strength of this man, Nikita Koloff. He threw Ligon aside like yesterday's garbage. It was something beautiful, gut-wrenched up salto by Koloff, and that's where his amateur training certainly stands him in good stead. Front chancery now. Ivan Koloff moves in. The Koloffs, one of the most feared teams in professional wrestling, and they are out after the World Tag Team Champions. And the Tag Team Champions, of course, the Raging Bull, Manny Fernandez, and the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. We'll be seeing them next week here on Class of the 80s on Pro Wrestling USA. Koloff caught him coming off the ropes. Ligon in a lot of trouble. You can see the kind of teamwork that Nikita and Ivan Koloff have. Tag is made. Mike Fever moves in. And Mike Fever had no chance to get any motion going at all, as the Koloffs have completely dominated the situation. Double teaming in before the count of 4. Koloff brings him up. Backbreaker. Nikita Koloff, 275 pounds, and there's not a wasted ounce of material on this man. You can see the looks on the wrestling fans near ringside as they are indeed awed at this spectacle of the Russian combination. The Koloffs, and Koloff catching Mike Fever coming off the ropes, drives that elbow into the pectoralis majors, makes the tag with Ivan Koloff. Ivan Koloff moves in. They quickly double team before the count again. And this is something that Nikita has obviously learned from Ivan Koloff. And referee Tommy Wright powerless to do anything about it because it was before the count of 4. Ivan Koloff now with a front chancery on Mike Fever. I take it back, that's a front face lock. He does not have the one arm in prison, so it is a face lock and not a chancery. Tag is made. Ligon moves in. Off the ropes. Ligon tried to set him for a backdrop, but it was Koloff one step ahead. Drove that Russian boot right into his face and now smashes him into the boot of Nikita Koloff. At 245 pounds, Koloff is really a tank-like in structure. Rear chin lock on Ligon. Now a lateral press, but Ligon powers out of that. Again, the tag is made, and Ligon sent off the ropes. And again, they double team, but again, it's before the 4 count. And again, referee Tommy Young sends Ivan Koloff out of the ring. It's the huge, powerful Nikita Koloff moving in, drives Ligon back into the turnbuckle. High hip toss and puts him halfway across the ring. Mike Fever tags up, and before Fever can even enter the ring, Koloff is on top of him. And the Russian Bears now really having a field day with both Mike Fever and Ligon. Got him with a lariat coming off. And it is Ivan Koloff tagging up. Now notice again, you see the count has started. And just at the 4 count, it's 2 of them catching him, and now it's Nikita Koloff choking Fever and punishing him some more. It's Fever. Irish whip off the ropes and is caught by Koloff again, and again he goes for the throat. And very quickly is warned by referee Tommy Young. He breaks the hold and backs away. And he's gone for the Cobra. He's gone for the Cobra hold. And I don't believe that Mike Fever is going to be able to escape from that, as that forearm comes down across the carotid artery, blocking the blood flow to the brain. That causes unconsciousness, and you can see a very irate group of fans most unhappy over the fact that the Russian Bears, Ivan and Nikita Koloff, have indeed again scored an impressive win here on Pro Wrestling USA. But, well, we'll see what happens when they go after the World Tag Team Champions, Manny Fernandez and Dusty Rhodes. We'll be back in a moment. Vern Gagne, and I can think of Bruce Smith and a host of others, but certainly one of the most current top competitors in the pro sports world today is the gentleman from Minnesota who's with me right now, Bob Backlund.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Soley, for those comments. You know, it's great, and really exciting to be on pro wrestling today. There's a lot of great people here, and you know, a few weeks ago, I had a little confrontation with Ron Bass, and I thought I had things really going my way. Because I've got to have victories. I've got to climb that ladder. I'm starting at the bottom and working my way up to the top. I don't want nothing turned over to me on a silver platter. But this manager of his, Jim Dillon, interfered. And you know, my temper's a little bit short-fused because he's trying to set me back. I've got to defeat this man in order to get a chance at the NWA Championship or the AWA Champion. I have to defeat people like Harley Race, Terry Funk, Dusty Rhodes. I got to defeat each man to climb that ladder. Mr. Bass, you set me back a little bit. I've got to get you into the ring, whether it be right here or any place, and get a victory so I can climb that ladder. Maybe Harley Race next, maybe one of the Funk brothers, somebody, in order for me to get up there to get one of those titles that I want so badly.
Bob, switching on you for just a moment, I know, of course, that you do an awful lot of work with youngsters, and in a couple of weeks we're going to try and bring the folks who are watching us right now some of the activities that you've done with the youth of America. You helped train the Olympic team, too.
Yes, I was out and helped train the Olympic team, which was an honor for me. It was a great pleasure, and they did very well. And, yeah, kids are very important to me. Kids are something that we got to help. They're our most important resource. They're going to run our country. They're going to control our country. And the more we do for them, the better our country's going to be, the stronger it's going to be. And I'm not going to let those people down. I'm not going to let our kids down. I'll promise the parents that.
Thank you so very much, Bob Backlund. A great athlete, a great competitor. Right now, we've got another match in the ring, so let's go to that 20-by-20 squared circle.
This event, one full television time remaining. Introducing first the team in the blue cutter. Weighing in at 235 pounds, here's Brian Adias. His partner is the Southern heavyweight champion, weighing 236 pounds, Jerry the King Lawler. Their opponents, first of all, weighing 230
time remaining. It's Jerry Lawler, Jerry the King Lawler, and Brian Adias moving out against Joel Deaton and Paul Kelly. That's Adias in the ring now, and Deaton up and over his man. Good leapfrog by Adias, and Adias caught him coming off the rope. Beautiful spin under takedown. This man Adias is sudden, I'll tell you. Jerry the King Lawler moving in. Now Lawler, interesting history on this man. Has participated in just about every sport imaginable. In addition to this, is a writer and an artist. He's got his problems right now with Mr. Deaton, however, and he settles that very, very quickly. Lawler, who is primarily noted for his wrestling skills and ability, has got a right hand that'll drop a mule, I'll tell you that. Caught that time, a high hip toss that takes Lawler back to the canvas. Lawler, a look of consternation crossing his face as he said, okay, let's try this fella for size one more time. Australian tag team. At that time, Lawler blocked him, hung onto those ring ropes, and again. Now Lawler retaliates. Referee Tommy Young watching him. Stalking his man. And it's Brian Adias moving in and catching his man on the side of the rib cage. Catches Deaton, drops him to the canvas, and it's Adias leapfrogging up and over his man. Beautiful drop kick now by Brian Adias, and now catches Deaton in a hip lock takedown, keeps the side headlock. Another reminder, of course, remember, next week, class of the 80s. An hour packed with champions. Deaton has him up. Adias caught in a full body slam. Tried to move away from it, but gets out of a lateral press. Gets away from the pinning combination. Deaton locks up collar and elbow. Gets the side headlock. Makes the tag with Kelly. Paul Kelly moves in, and Adias wastes no time in punishing Kelly. Gets over, makes the tag with Jerry the King Lawler. Lawler scores to the midsection. A snapmare that takes Kelly back to the canvas, and Lawler using that fist very handily. Referee Tommy Young warning him about the use of the fist, although I can't blame either Lawler or Adias because Kelly and Deaton have been taking every possible shortcut. High vertical suplex. That may spell the end. No, sir. He makes the tag with Brian Adias. Adias moves in. Drives the back of the elbow across the chest. Kelly. Kelly is able to power out. No 3 count that time. Remember this match, 1 fall, television time remaining. Good move as a drop kick by Brian Adias. Puts Kelly back to the canvas. Adias moves in, hooks the far leg, but Kelly was able to get those shoulders off the mat before the count. Adias gets over, makes the tag once again. It's Jerry Lawler moving into the ring. Some quick double teaming here before the count of 4. Lawler up on that second ring rope. Crashes down on Kelly. And that, I'm sure, is all she wrote. It is indeed. It is all she wrote for that combination. So Brian Adias and Jerry Lawler proving that they are indeed weak. Here on Pro Wrestling USA, I'm referring, of course, to the World Tag Team Champions. On my far left would be the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, and immediately to my left, the Raging Bull, Manny Fernandez. Gentlemen, welcome aboard.
Well, you know, Mr. Sully's glad to be on here with you and glad to see all these people from New York City come around. You know, the world champions, there's a lot of so-called world champions tag team style. But the Thunder and Herd of Unity, or Unity Tour 84, come together when Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, the Tower of Power, and the Raging Bull come together. We came together for a cause, and that cause was to become #1 in the world and to be World Tag Team Champions. There's a lot of challengers like the Koloffs, the Road Warriors, and a lot more out there. But the Dream and the Bull come together for one thing, and that's what we're doing today. Quiero saludar a toda la gente latina. Este niño amigo mío, el Dusty Rhodes, el sueño americano y el toro de ustedes. Así somos los campeones para la gente latina.
You know, Gunn, New York City and throughout the world have seen Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream. And they have read in many, many places about the Raging Bull, Manny Fernandez. Manny Fernandez, West Texas State University, as you know very well, my alma mater, along with the many, many great wrestlers. As a matter of fact, 3 world champions came from West Texas State, and now a 4th, the tag team champions of the world, Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, and the Raging Bull. And I want everybody in the listening air, all my people all over the world, to understand the fury and the speed and the thunder and the herd of the Raging Bull, Manny Fernandez. And by himself could very well be a world champion. Then we'd have to do like we did in college, get down and get after each other for it. But the thing is now, open challenge, Road Warriors, AWA champions, or whether it be Ivan and Nikita Koloff. The Koloff know well now. They talking big talk. They telling everybody about world heavyweight title, world tag team champions. They want Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, and the Raging Bull. Well, let me tell you, we here for you, Daddy. You put it down, brother. I mean, get it on the street. We are here today for that very reason. We are the world's tag team champions. Ivan and Nikita Koloff, you got to prove yourself. You got to learn to take some blues and a little blues and a little agony and a little really get down home electrified funk. And if you want it, we got it. And if we ain't got it, we get it. If we can't fight it, we know where it's at. If we got to look for it, it ain't worth getting. So you know where I'm at. You know where the bull is at.
Right here next.
New York City, Los Angeles, California, Boston, Massachusetts, Springfield, wherever it is. Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, the Raging Bull. They're going to be ready for you. And you know my man, the Bull, is very heavy in the Latin community because the other night he had a little Latin thing for me that was just pretty as a picture. And I like to say hello to her mother in Spanish because she taught me these words. Buenas noches. And anyway, brother, wherever it is.
Talk to me, baby.
I mean, that's it. He taught me that, you know. Wherever it is, mama, you know I'm thinking about you because we love you. And the Bull is the Bull.
Coming at you,
and
New
the
York.
Dream is the Dream.
Fixing
God
to
is
rock and roll.
We're happy to be on Pro Wrestling USA. Thank you.
That's
baby.
right. Thank you, baby.
Well, thank you two very much. The World Tag Team Champions, Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, and the Raging Bull, Manny Fernandez, both out of West Texas State. I might add one other note on that. Don't forget, of course, next week, Class of the 80s, all champions, and what a great week it's going to be. We certainly hope that all of you will join us next week.